And today's guest is a songwriter, producer, a recording artist, some great songs like How'd We Ever Get This Way, Baby I Love You, Rock Me Gently, and this guy has sold about 30 million records worldwide. Please welcome Andy Kim. Hey, Andy.
Hello, how are you today?
Just fine. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm counting the days. We're not too far away from the 3rd, which is really exciting.
As a matter of fact, you know, on Saturday, August 3rd, at Raleigh Field, we've got the Sensationals 60s show. Now, besides Andy Kim, we've got Tommy James, the Turtles, Gary Lewis, Mitch Ryder, Mark Lindsay, Marvelettes. Holy smoke!
It's going to be a great show.
Well, for more information, you can call 916-371-4487. The show starts at 5 p.m. and goes on to who knows when, but that's coming up Saturday, August 3rd. Man, that sounds like a great show.
Well, I tell you something, it's going to be great. I've worked with some of the guys before, and they're absolutely going to put on a phenomenal show, and I'm excited and honored to be part of it.
Now, Andy, let's go back a little bit. How important to your career was Jeff Barry?
Wow. Well, I don't think I'd have had the career I had without Jeff Barry. I was this starry-eyed 16-year-old from Montreal, Canada, who went to New York City to follow a dream more than I guess show off a talent, because I don't know how talented I was then. But I was very fortunate that I had left a tape of a couple of songs with Jeff's secretary, and he heard something that he really liked, and not only was I able to enter into the wonderful Brill building, the likes of people like Lieber Stoller and Carole King and Jerry Golden and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil and Jeff and Ellie, I was able to be part of that environment, and Jeff went from being a stranger to someone that I worked with to a friend, and I think that without Jeff, my career would have been a much different one.
Well, I became an Andy Kim fan when the song How'd We Ever Get This Way came out, I believe in 1968.
Correct.
Now, what's the history of getting that song out?
Well, when Jeff first heard some of the things that I had written, he had earmarked those songs for some of the groups that he had recorded, and they were looking for follow-up records and follow-up singles, and he chose some of the songs that I was writing at the time. And to be quite honest with you, every song I wrote, I wanted to record.
Right.
And I came in one afternoon and I said, well, I have the song that's for me. And as Jeff taught me by example, he says, well, sing it to me and I'll tell you if it's your kind of song and the kind of song that I think will launch a career.
Right.
So I had just started, I had just the first verse and chorus to Baby I Love You melodically, so I started singing, you know, look at you, baby, look at me. And when I got to the chorus, I said, ba la 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 la, there'll be words here, ba la 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 la, just to give him an idea. And he stopped, he said, sing it again. And then when I got to the chorus, I went, ba la 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 la, I said, there'll be words here. And he said, that's the chorus. He says, that's your song. And I was so excited about the fact that finally I was going to get a chance to have the legendary Jeff Barry, you know, produce me.
Right.
And it was a magical time. It was a magical session. And when I look back on it, I think I had more courage then than talent, but I was very, very lucky to be around Jeff Barry and you know, Lieber Stoller and Phil Spector and all of those people, because I learned so much and really started to develop my own style, and I can't ever sing that song and not think about those days.
And what was it like when you first heard that song on the radio for the first time?
Oh, can I tell you something? I was I was at home in Montreal, Canada. I had gone back, and I was listening to the radio because someone told me that they may be adding the radio, the song to the station, and kind of listened most of the morning and didn't hear it, and most of the afternoon and didn't hear it, and then I get a phone call from someone and says, "You're on the radio, you're on the radio," and I just kind of turned on the radio and like I blasted it, and I was in another state of mind. It was just the most incredible feeling in the whole wide world to actually hear this record that was a song that I wrote, the song that I was singing actually on the radio. And then I go from there to New York City, and eventually doing American Bandstand with Dick Clark with that song, and it was it was a dream come true. I could not believe it.
And then later on, after a couple of hits, then you and Jeff started writing the songs for the Archies.
Absolutely. The Archies were on television, and the decision was that they would make some records. And what I was told was that Donnie Kirshner at the time loved the sound of the Andy Kim records and was wondering if I'd be interested in writing for the Archies. And obviously, writing Sugar Sugar was just another phenomenal step for me, and went on to write Jingle Jangle and Who's Your Baby, the three big records that they had out. And
actually, Who's Your Baby was one of my favorites for some reason. I know it wasn't one of the biggest hits, Sugar Sugar was, but I don't know, for some reason Who's Your Baby was the one that I really liked.
I love that song. I feel the same way about it that you do. There was a certain groove to that particular song. I remember when I first started writing it, and I would smile every time I came. Who's your baby? It was just you're taking me back to a time that was such a joy,
right,
and so much fun. Being around Jeff and being in that environment, it was obviously a very innocent time, and I was growing up basically in the music business. It was the following year after How'd We Ever Get This Way, and not only did I have Baby I Love You out, that was my first million seller,
right,
but Sugar Sugar going strong on the radio, which was just wonderful. Phrasing and my articulation, and then when it was time to make the record, I would go into the vocal booth and I'd sing just to make sure that everyone was at the right place and the right thing, and Jeff being the producer is the way he had everything designed that way.
Right.
And then I would believe that Ron would hear what my vocal was and then would take it and make it his own.
And I believe later on then your biggest hit was Rock Me Gently. How did that song all come about?
Well, that song was part inspiration. One morning I because of the previous evening, some people have a diary, and so they write their thoughts down in a book.
Right.
As a songwriter, I write my thoughts down in music, and so Rock Me Gently was a song that I wrote remembering the night before, and there was this wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous, tall, blonde, phenomenal human being that I met, and it was love at first sight. And,
right.
So that morning I wrote the beginning of that song, and I went into studio. I was at that time I had left New York. I packed up my dreams and moved to L.A. And this was going to be the first time that I was going to work without Jeff. And so I wrote the song, and I was the publisher, and I was the artist. I'm also the producer now.
Wow.
So I took everything that I had learned, and this was my next step for me. And I recorded the song, and I was really excited. All the senses that I had when I first, started working on, whether it was How'd We Ever Get This Way, or whether it was Baby I Love You, or Sugar Sugar, you get a sense that you've struck lightning in a bottle.
Right.
And so, being very happy with the end result, I took it to some labels, because I was without a label at the time. After I had left New York, I was, for all intents and purposes, a free agent. So I started calling people, and for 1 year, nobody wanted to put the record out because no one thought it was a hit. And I kept persevering, and I was kind of a little scared at that time, because I figured that, I really believed I had something very special and unique.
Right.
And if what everyone else was telling me was not true, or I'm sorry, if whatever everybody was telling me was true, then then what was not true was that it was a hit. And it really kind of threw me, because I'm a very instinctual person, and I won't bore you with the exact details, but I remember just kind of breaking down, and after a year of trying in L.A. and in New York, I just spent a little time feeling maybe a little sorry for myself, and I called my mom in Montreal, and I said, Mom, I'm going to come home for a little while. I'm going to start my own label, and I'm going to put the record out. I don't think she heard anything other than the fact that I was coming home for a while, which made her really, really happy.
Right.
So I went back to Montreal and started my own label, just the way, Jeff Barry had started Steed Records, and Phil Spector had started Phillies, and Bob Crew had started his own label, and all of the people that I took a page from their book and made it mine, and had some records pressed, and I just was determined that this was going to find an audience. And within 2 weeks, it exploded in Canada. And one of the radio stations on the border of Canada and Detroit, Michigan, was receiving many requests from the U.S. Side, and Capitol Records at that time had someone in the area scouting that record, and we finally came to an agreement and put it out in the U.S. And geez, after it came out, 9 months later, it went to #1 in Billboard, and was #1 in a lot of countries all over the world. And I'm finally at the gold record time, and waiting in the office of the chairman of the board of Capitol with the salespeople and promotion people to celebrate. And there's some guy walks in with my gold record, and it was John Lennon.
Wow.
And it was just the most, it was so surreal, I can't tell you. And the interesting thing is the fact that he was working with Elton John on a song called Whatever Gets You Through the Night.
Right.
And the Beatles were on Capitol, and they would never do a solo project. It was also on Capitol. And he was a few minutes early for his meeting with the chairman. And so, kind of like when he saw that someone was walking in with a gold record, he just decided that he would do the honors, And it was just...
That's neat.
It was just a wonderful end to a story that went through anxiety, went through certain times where I just didn't know if there was a home for me anymore in the music business, and it was kind of like a little bit of a fairy tale story. What a wonderful feeling that was, and every time I sing that song, I think about those moments.
And where are your gold records hanging at?
Well, my mom and dad were always concerned about, their 16-year-old son having left home,
right,
and lived in New York, and my older brother came and was kind of a guardian for a while, and then Jeff became my guardian. And basically, I sent every gold record, every gold album to my mom and dad just to show them that, I am being successful. Things are working out. Obviously, I was making money and being able to help and support the family, because we didn't come from well, we just didn't. We had a lot of love, but we didn't have the money, you know.
Right.
So I was able to bring that comfort home, and so that's where the Gold Records had remained until my mom, God rest her soul, passed away a couple of years ago, and now one of my brothers has them in his home.
That's nice. Nice. Now, see, now this would come into my head, but I don't know if it would ever come into your head, and that is having written and performed these hits, and these songs will just go on forever, you know. I mean, does that ever get in your head where you know what you've done is going to remain as long as, you know, there's an earth? It will remain in history and be played over and over, and people's going to be listening to your songs till the end of time.
Well, you know, to be quite honest with you, I'm still the 16-year-old kid who had a dream and is a fan of music. I feel that way about the Beatles songs. I feel that way about the Elvis records. I feel that way about Led Zeppelin. I feel that way about the Stones and Bob Dylan. But I don't know. I never look at it from what I've done. I have a hard time. I just started performing again last year. I hadn't performed in quite a few years, and I had kind of faded away into the background. And when I started again, I didn't know if there was an audience.
Right.
And I never assumed that people are going to remember. So I started the beginning of a website, and I started getting emails from all over the world, and I did a show not too long ago in New Zealand. I was there for a couple of weeks. And the audience, there was over 2,000 people just screaming and singing my songs, and I still walk away amazed. So I don't have a true take on it, to be quite honest with you. I'm just lucky and blessed to continue to be doing this.
And tell us about your website.
Well, it's andykimmusic.com, ANDYKIMMUSIC.com, and it's just the beginning. It's not an in-depth one. What we're hoping to do is that it's a place where people can come to the site, get some information on me, and before too long, there's going to be a store where you'll be able to buy CDs and photos and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm excited about it because I've always believed that the most important relationship is the artist to the audience.
Right.
And there are so many people that try to interfere with that process, whether it's management, whether it's PR, whether it's record company and all of their departments. This is an opportunity to just get in touch directly with people that are interested in asking questions or participating in this journey that I'm taking. And I answer my emails. I may not get to them within the first few days or something, but I do answer my emails, and it's just a wonderful way to continue to connect to your audience.
And I'm sure they can find out where you're going to be touring at, and if you've got any CDs coming out in the future, they can find all that information there.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I want to remind everybody, Saturday, August 3rd at Raleigh Field, besides Andy Kim, we have Tommy James, the Turtles, Gary Lewis, Mitch Ryder, Mark Lindsay, he was the lead singer of Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Marvelettes. All of this starts at 5 p.m. And for more ticket information, just dial 916-371-4487. That's a Sensational 60s show. Hey, Andy, thank you so much for calling us today. I hope everybody goes out there and sees you and visits your website. And is there a new CD coming out or anything that we can look forward to?
Well, I'll tell you, a couple of interesting things have happened. Number one, I am putting together the definitive Andy Kim anthology that'll include, How'd We Ever Get This Way, to Rock Me Gently, to Sugar Sugar, to all the things that, people have been asking for. Also, I met a group that was told to to me that they were huge Andy Kim fans, grew up with my music, and got together with one of the founding members, and we wrote a song, and he played on it and produced me on it. And,
wow!
And that's going to be part of it. And the group is called the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes.
And so I'm excited about that very, very much. And I'm also excited about in a few days I'll be able to get together with the audience that we're talking to right now.
Right.
I know it's going to be a great show, but what's exciting to me is that I get to meet the people, and that to me has always been why I'm here and doing the songs that I'm doing.
Well, one of my favorite things at these type of shows is when the artist is on stage, I look at the faces in the audience, and you see the glow in their face because they're reliving their something about each song reminds them of something, either a girl or whatever, and it just makes their life, like they forget about everything else, and they're there just having fun.
It's a phenomenal feeling. I can't explain it, to be quite honest with you, but there's like a peace and a smile that comes to your face.
Right.
And I know that the memory bank explodes with emotion when I perform those songs.
Right.
And people sing along and they remember where they were. It's almost like I remember, when I'd walk into the kitchen and my mom, God rest her soul, was cooking something. When I walk into one of my brothers who is a phenomenal cook, he got my mom's talent. When I walk into his kitchen and I smell that, I go back in time to when we were kids.
Right.
And music has that power, and it's such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I know not only for my songs, but when you hear Tommy James, and you'll hear the Turtles, and
right.
and Gary Lewis and Mark Lindsay and everyone else that's going to be there. It's going to be an awesome experience, and the memories will be just everywhere.
Well, I'm gonna keep tabs on your website, and when I see that your anthology CD is ready, I'm going to contact you, and I'm going to beg you to come back on so we can talk about that. Okay?
Well, I thank you, and I really appreciate the sensitivity and the caring that you have taken to mold this interview and these moments together, because it's a very special time for me, and I'm savoring every moment, and I thank you for your help.
Well, we thank you, Andy Kim. And once again, Saturday, August 3rd, Raleigh Field.
Saturday, August 3rd.
Yeah, ticket info, 916-371-4487, and we'll mention again after the show also. Andy, thank you very much. I hope we'll talk to you soon.
And I'll see you August 3rd. August 3rd, August 3rd, August 3rd. You better be there.
All right. Bye, Andy.
Bye.
Andy, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, we're done. Hey, listen, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you bringing some thoughts that no one has talked about, and that's when I used to send the gold records to my mom and dad and all that, and it's just a very, very warm feeling from you, and I thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and